Hi guys, I'm Tom. I'm one of the flight instructors here at Helicenter Flight Academy. We are based in Lelystad, which is near Amsterdam. Today I will be taking you through the R44 daily pre-flight checklist. Alright guys, first part of the checklist is to turn the master battery switch on, which I will be doing right now. Now we want to check some lights: oil pressure, alternator, auxiliary fuel pump, the brake light comes on. These are all off. Now we can check the fuel quantity. So the auxiliary fuel is at 75% and the main fuel is at 80 to 90%. While standing here, we will test the emergency lights. The test switches are behind this cowl door. So open up the cowl. While standing here, I can see the inside of the helicopter. And one by one I will be pressing the buttons to see if the light turns on. So first, main rotor temperature light, and it came on. Main rotor chip light, also turning on. The engine fire light, the tail rotor chip light, low fuel light. This button needs to be depressed for a few seconds. That's due to the delay of the light to turn on, otherwise at a specific fuel level the light will start to flicker. After a few seconds the light should turn on. And the fuel filter light. After completion of the test switches, we turn the battery switch off. We just checked the gauges. The auxiliary fuel tank was at 75%. Now we want to check if that corresponds with the actual fuel level inside the tank. So step up a small ladder, take the fuel cap off, take a look inside, and I can actually confirm it's at 75%. Now we've checked it, put back the fuel cap, twist it, and make sure the lines are aligned with each other. Next item on the checklist, open both cowl doors, upper. Now we are underneath the tank. Over here we have the fuel lines. We want to make sure there are no leaks. If there would be any, you obviously would smell some gas. What I like to do is feel the lines for leaks. So if your fingers get wet, you know there's a leak somewhere. Next we want to take a fuel sample of both fuel tanks. We want to check if there's any debris in the fuel tank or water vapor. So take a sample bottle. We start with the main tank. Put the line here, unleash the clip and push forward on the line to allow some fuel to get into the sample. Enough. The main tank is looking nice, it's clean, no water, no debris or dust or anything inside. That's okay. So now in the auxiliary tank, same procedure. Put the green line in there, unleash the clip and now push up. And again we want some fuel in the container. Lock it again. And again we're going to check if there's something in there. Auxiliary tank is also clean. So one more point, we want to drain the fuel. It's down here. Small pipe, again with the green line around it. Make sure the bottle's underneath. Push up. Also clean. No water or any dust or sand or whatsoever. Next part on the checklist is we want to make sure the gearbox oil is at a specific level. For the gearbox, we go down a bit. Over here, the big gray metallic part is the gearbox itself. And here we have a sighting glass. The helicopter isn't perfectly level right now, so it's tilted a bit to the left. That's why it's a bit lower. But if it's level, it would indicate halfway. Next item on the checklist, we want to make sure the hydraulics aren't leaking. Over here we have the hydraulic reservoir. Same as with the gearbox, there's a sighting glass. The fluid is a bit on the low side right now, but it's due to the helicopter being on a slope. So again, this is fine. Then we have the hydraulic lines. Same as with the fuel lines. Try to feel with your fingers or your hand if you feel any leaks. Also check the whole area over here. If there's any red fluid, it's indicating that there's hydraulic leak. Moving on to the next item, it's the rotor brake, which is situated just behind the auxiliary fuel tank. It might be kind of hard to see. What you could do is go inside the helicopter and actuate the rotor brake and listen for a small clicking sound. It's the micro switch which tells us if the rotor brake is engaged or not. Moving on to the yoke flange and the flex coupling. The flex coupling itself is the golden colored metallic part over here. We want to make sure all the bolts are attached, torque lines are aligned. The yoke flange, it's the steel part over here. Kind of looks like a T. Also bolts attached. For the flex coupling itself, you want to make sure there are no cracks. So what I like to do is rub my finger on the side and feel for any cracks. Next is the hydraulic pump and the tailor temp of the hydraulic pump and the tailor temp of the gearbox. The hydraulic pump is mounted to the gearbox. It's kind of hard to see, but if you look from down below to the gearbox, you can see where it is. The tailor temps are orange stickers with some squares on them. If one of the squares start turning black, it means there's something inside the gearbox which is warming up. If there's a black line painted by maintenance, the next block should be still gray. If that one is turning black again, give maintenance a heads up so they take a look at it. Moving on from the hydraulic pump and the tailor temps, we want to make sure that all control rod ends aren't damaged and properly secured. The control rod ends, all the bolts do have torque lines, so make sure that they are still aligned. Also look for interference for the tail rotor shaft. This one's okay. And for the rod ends, you are allowed to rotate them, but they shouldn't have any play in the longitudinal direction. Then the steel tube frame, it's the white frame. Look for any cracks, bends, dents, damage. And all bolts should be attached and not loose. Our frame is looking nice, no cracks, no dents, no bends. All good, and all fasteners are properly secured. Alright, now we want to check the main rotor and all main rotor components. So we will open the passenger door, put our right foot on here, our left foot in here, and then climb up. When standing on top of the helicopter, make sure you place your foot on top of the line and all the bolts over there. To the left and the right of that position, you might dent the helicopter. Now, when I'm on top, I'm allowed to see the rotor blades. They're nice and clean, no damage, no cracks, dents. Other one as well. Pitch change boots. There shouldn't be any leaks. They're not damaged, I don't see any cracks. So those are good. The main rotor hinge bolts are the three big bolts over here. They should be locked. Locked on the other side as well. All rod ends. So these are the rod ends. The rod ends are actually the parts over here. Again, you are allowed to rotate them, but they shouldn't have any play in the up or downward movement. All fasteners are secured, again with torque lines. Fasteners of the rotor blades. All torque lines are there, no cracks. The scissors on the other side in our case. Also no cracks. It's not loose, so no looseness. So now it's time to close the upper forward cowl doors. Make sure to close this one first, then this one. Okay. All right, now we want to open this door. Behind there we can find the engine. You want to make sure there are no leaks, no fluids, so all the links and everything is attached as it should be. The exhaust pipes are attached. Basically follow the checklist. Everything down here should be as it's stated in the checklist. Alright, first we want to check the airbox and duct. It's secure. The engine sheet metal, it has no cracks. Fuel lines, no leaks. Oil lines, no leaks or chafing. The exhaust system, no cracks. Throttle linkage is operable. And the cowl door is latched again. Next is the aft cowl door. So we will open it. Down here we can see the oil cooler door. So we push down on the door to make sure the inside is clean. The V-belt conditions. So we are looking for cracks, any wear or tear on the V-belts. Ours are looking great. So next item is the upper bearing, which is this part, especially the inside. On the upper bearing is the tail temp. Again, same as with the gearbox and the hydraulic pump. There shouldn't be the white block shouldn't discolor into black or any coloration. So ours are okay, which indicate that the bearing isn't getting warm. The upper sheath, the condition, also looking intact. The upper sheath is the part where all the V-belts run over. Then the inside of the upper sheath is the spread clutch. We are looking for oil leaks or whatsoever inside the spread clutch. Next item is the flex coupling, same as the one over here. I'm going to feel with my finger if the flex coupling has some cracks or something. This one is in great shape. The yoke flanges, all bolts are attached. The steel tube frame is the white frame again. We are looking for cracks, dents, bends. None of those are to be seen here. And now the tail rotor, we can try this one. We can rotate it, but there isn't any play. So, how it should be. The last thing we want to check here is the tail cone attachment. So the tail cone is attached with some big bolts. And there are torque stripes on there again. So check for the torque stripes and see if all bolts are there. And ours is looking great, it's attached. Now we can close the cowl door. We take a look down here. Here's the cooling fan. We are looking for damage. There's also a bolt there with a big line on there. The line should be aligned with the fan scroll, so make sure to check that. Moving back down here. Here's the tailpipe. Try to shake it, inspect it. If it's loose, make sure to give a heads up to maintenance. Ours is just attached, so also good. Moving further back, we're looking at the empennage, the tail skin. All antennas are secure. All lights are not damaged and secure. All rivets are there. No damage, no dents. Antennas also nice and attached. Make sure not to grab it here. Light is attached. The tail guard. All skin surfaces. All rivets are there. All bolts. Tail light. Alright, so over here we have the tail gearbox. Again, there's a tail temp over here. Check it for any discoloration, no black blocks. And the oil level of the tail gearbox. This can be found here. Oil is halfway, so that's good. The vent, we don't have any leaks here. Alright, the tail rotor. Check the blades for damage. There's no damage here. You want to check the pitch links, both here. No free play. The teeth of bearing, it's the rubber over here, and the bearing bolt, which shouldn't rotate with the rotor. And lastly is the bell crank, also operating as it should be. This side of the tail cone, so all rivets are there, antennas already checked. Been here already. Now we're going to open this cowl door, so we have a look at the other side of the engine. We want to check the oil level. Should be between 7 and 9 quarts. Ours actually is at 7, so that's okay. A bit further to the left of the oil dipstick, we have the engine oil filter. It's clean, it's attached, it's lock wired. And lastly, we want to check the battery relay. Also attached and no damage. Down here we also check the steel tube frame. Same as with the other parts, no dents, bends or any damage. The sheet metal, same as on the other side, also no damage. Now we can close the cowl door again. Same as with the auxiliary fuel tank. Here the main fuel tank indicated at gauges that it was at 90%. So we want to make sure the gauges are working properly. Open up the fuel cap, take a look inside, and it should be around 90%. Ours actually is, so the gauges are working fine. Close it up again. Again, make sure the paint lines are aligned. The main tank, it shouldn't be leaking. If it would be leaking, there's a small hole over here, which the fuel could drain out. Make sure there are no leaks here. Ours is nice, no damage and no leaks, so that's good. All right, Next item, the baggage compartments. Open up the door. Check if the baggage compartment isn't too full. Ours is nice and clean. There's an oil bottle here, that's fine. Lock the seatbelt again. Then close the door. Fast close the door. Check for the door and safety pins if they are installed. They are. Now the front baggage compartment. Nothing too much in there. Lock the seatbelt again. Now we want to make sure if the removable controls are installed, which they are in our case, they are installed properly, so they are not loose. Pedals are correctly installed and the cyclie has its safety pin also installed. Close the front door and check the door and safety pins again. Installed. Moving further down, we want to make sure the positioning lights aren't damaged, which they aren't in our case. We want to check the gear, the landing gear. All fairings are attached. There are no dents or bends in the landing gear. Also here on the rear. Down here we have the static port. Make sure there aren't any stickers or it's not plugged or whatsoever. So the static port is over here. It should be clear. So we just checked the static port. Now I want to make sure the pitot tube, which is over there, the small tube, should also be clear. Moving further forward, the windshield is clean. The landing lights aren't damaged and the yaw strings are attached. Same as on the left hand side, the right hand side door and safety pins should be installed. Front and rear. Position light, not damaged. And the landing gear again. So also here the fairings are attached. The stance is as it should be. The skids itself, looking good. Rear fairing, also no dents or damage. And the right hand side static port. As on the other side, this one's also clear. So final items on the checklist is the inside of the helicopter. Make sure there are no loose objects or anything in the helicopter. Make sure all switches are there. The clock is working. And if you want the pedals on the pilot side adjusted, you can do that now. So this concludes the R44 helicopter daily pre-flight check. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, state them down below in the comment section. Like and subscribe and fly safe.